Hello, guys. Sorry about that. Wanted to have people come in here. How's everybody doing? Damon Porter, what up, Jerry? Money, money, money. Nice intro. Thank you, sir. Letha, thank you so much, ma'am. Hi, Jerry Bitcoiners. Damon. Hey, Bitcoiners. Letha. Jay, yo, yo, yo. Got Sats. Here we go again. Thank you, Corey. Welcome, everybody, to the show. I'm trying to give a couple of people time to pile in here. If they do, got a couple of things to talk about today. Let's start off with the Bitcoin block height. I love looking at this website, guys. This is the mempool, and this is right here is one of the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Right. This is why we Bitcoin. Let me change this. Every time I look at this, I get up in the morning and I take a look at it, and I'm like, oh God, is it? The block's still coming, and it's just TikTok next block, and it never stops, guys. It never stops. We're at 888,387. The priority or the no priority, low priority, medium priority, and high priority are all 2 sats per V byte. And if you guys don't understand that, poor man's gold. What's up, man? Bacon booty. A day spent stacking is a day well spent. Absolutely. PMG, how you been, man? I ain't heard from you in a long time, my friend. I was getting worried about you. Glad to see you here, man. Hope the family's good. I hope everything's good. Poor Man's Gold has an incredible precious metal channel on YouTube. Good buddy of mine, and he's got an excellent channel. Go to his channel and check him out. Also, go to Got Sats channel as well. All good, brother. Good. Glad to hear that, man. Good to see you, brother. But when I look at the mempool here, and you look at the sats per V byte, that's how many sats it takes to move your Bitcoin in the blockchain, right? On the in the mempool, right? Because this is the mempool is waiting, and then these right here are the ones that are actually mined. And in order for you to get in, the last one right here coming in is going to be 1 sat per V byte. So if you want to get in higher than that, just put in 2, and that's very, very cheap right now. So if you want to move some Bitcoin on the base layer, today's a good day to do that. And as everybody knows, Bitcoin is quote unquote crashing today, down a little bit. And why is that, right? Why is Bitcoin down today? Let me pull my stuff up to make sure. I'm trying to get better at this. My arms hurt today, guys, because I was doing so much editing, doing the other editing the other video. And I'm very happy doing this. It's really cool. But Bitcoin's crashing a little bit, guys. Let's take a look at it here. On the 24-hour, we're down $1,651. I think we went as low as 81 and some change. So, and why is that? Why did it go down? Well, it went down because we have that Fed meeting tomorrow. That's the big part of it. And we don't know what Jerome Powell is going to do. I mean, we know that he's not going to raise or lower the interest rates. But again, I always say this: he's the second most powerful man in the country behind Donald Trump. He's the only one that basically in the Fed, which he's not part of the, he's not federal, and they definitely don't have a reserve. That doesn't have to listen to Trump, but he does listen to the market supposedly, even though he did. Listen to the Biden administration. Better question: why is it down 25K in the past month or two? Good question. I'll get to that in a minute, PMG. And so it depends on what he says. And I hate it, but I hate this. But this old system that we're in, this current and old system we're in, we depend on one man talking, and that's Jerome Powell, unfortunately. And what I like to do is I like to watch the markets while he's talking, and literally while he's saying certain words or certain phrases. Because again, every word he says is very calculated and meticulous for every word he says. The market moves, and he's the only man on the planet besides probably Donald Trump that can do that in real time. So I think the market is dumping a little bit because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And even though we know Bitcoin is a safe haven, most people don't. And that's why I tell people, I believe Trump's short-term plan is to get as many people as they can into bonds and lower interest rate. I mean, lower inflation. That way, um, the bond market, especially the 10-year, the yield will go down because more people are in it. So the demand of the bonds will go down because more people are in it, but also they want to lower, kind of force Jerome Powell's hand to lower interest rates. Because that's the only way you can lower inflation is lower interest rates and stop printing money. They're never going to stop printing money. Sorry, Jerry, have to jam home from work and I'll watch later. Okay, no problem, man. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so let's answer PMG's question. He asked, why is Bitcoin down 25K in the past month or two? Well, there's several things with that, PMG. First of all, it's many people that are in Bitcoin that don't understand Bitcoin, right? And the reason why it was up in the first place is because it was called the Trump pump. If you look back, let's see if I can pull it up. If you look back, let's go to the 6 month, and let's see. So November 5th, which was the election, uh, we were at 60 something thousand. And then once he won, it just pumped up, right? It just pumped up, pumped. It's called a pump Trump. And then it kind of leveled off here in November. And then it shot back up again late November or mid November, excuse me. And then it leveled off. And then once he got elected, it went back up again. And then it crashed down. The reason why, man, is because a lot of people don't understand Bitcoin, to be honest with you. And I think the market kind of overshot. And I think the whales have something to do that too. PMG, the people that are just like precious metals, they can manipulate the market by selling in and out and trading in and out. And I think that's why lower interest rates is higher inflation, sir. Did I say that backwards, Jay? Sorry about that. If I said that backwards, sorry. Yeah, if you lower the interest rates, yeah, but that's true, but Trump wants inflation to go down by also not spending as much, and that's what he's doing. Because if you spend less, you have to print less. And you're right, lower interest rates is higher inflation. But if the market is not, or if the government is not spending as much, and we're not, having a gap between the spending and the earnings, we won't print as much and we won't borrow as much as well. All right, so I wanted to show you guys a quick clip from this morning here in my hometown, Las Vegas, here, where the crazy left is attacking Elon Musk's Teslas. So let's take a look at this, and this just happened this morning. Take a look.
Well, I actually spoke with someone that works right next door, and he was telling us all about how all the businesses on the 6600 block of Bedora is currently being canceled for the day. Now, we're looking at a closure from Bedora and South Jones all the way through RB right now. We haven't gotten word if anyone has been arrested yet. We haven't been able to get all the way close enough to test the collision to see exactly a closer look at what happened. But as we do know, at 2:30 a.m. this morning, police, they did receive a call that multiple Tesla cars were set on fire. You've heard about the vandalism that's been happening with the protests all across the nation, and now Kim has come right here to Las Vegas.
Sure has. So showrooms, charging stations, the most recent one, someone firing a weapon at a showroom up in Oregon. Thank you for paying attention to what's going on. Let us know before this broadcast ends if there's any sort of update. Thank you, Everett. And not the first time that a Tesla in Las Vegas had been in the same sentence and in the national news. Remember this? This was a former Army veteran who took his own life by exploding a Cybertruck in front of the Trump International Hotel just off the Las Vegas Strip. FBI and local law enforcement are continuing to investigate. This hasn't wrapped, at least not yet, as far as the investigation.
Yeah, these people are crazy, man. You know what I mean? It's just, and I'm talking about it because I love what Elon Musk is doing because I'm getting ready to cover Doge and stuff like that. And he doesn't need this, man. They always talking about January, January, but the left are the one that's going crazy. And I'm bringing this up as well is because the only way Bitcoin is going to be adopted if more people get involved. And I believe that the mainstream media and the people's brains on MSDNC and stuff like that, because they fear monger and make people hate Trump and stuff like that. Anything Trump is involved in, they're not going to do it. And I think that's going to hurt. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt Bitcoin's adoption short term, because people are just, nuts about Trump. So here's what Doge is doing right now. They are saving us $1,923 per taxpayer, according to the debt clock, and they have saved so far 216 billion, according to this, and that's pretty good. I got to give them credit for that, if that's right. And then this is the official Twitter page of the Department of Government Efficiency. I highly suggest you guys go here and see what they're doing, man, because again, this does affect us, because the less spending that the government does, the better for us, because again, we pay taxes, and this money goes up to the federal government. And I don't really like talking about the federal government, but we have to, because it's so big and bloated. Back in the days, people weren't even talking about this stuff because nobody cared, because the government was small. It's supposed to be of the people, for the people, and by the people, and not the reverse. We're not supposed to be working for them; they're supposed to be working for us. And unfortunately, it's not that way right now. And here's another Doge page you guys can go to. It's kind of like a fan page or whatever. It's really, really good. It'll give you some good stuff on there. And then this is a good watch right here. Elon Musk was on Ted Cruz's podcast yesterday. He had some really interesting things to say on that. So I highly suggest you guys check that out. But yeah, back to the Bitcoin price. This all affects us, man. Bitcoin is politics, and politics is Bitcoin. If we don't understand how the debt clock works, and the federal spending and the federal government, what they're making and stuff like that, and the money supply, the M2 money supply, the velocity, or M1 money supply, excuse me, and the velocity of the M1 money supply, we're not going to understand Bitcoin. And when I tell people to study Bitcoin, all this goes together. You can't just study the base layer of Bitcoin and how the inner workings work. You have to study the old system to know what's going on with the new system. And then this right here is a trading chart showing you real time what the prices are per Bitcoin and how many they have and stuff like that. And this is real time. You got the green and the red. You always got people in and out, selling and buying all the time. You know what I mean? But again, the exchanges, as I'll show you later on, are getting lower and lower and lower with Bitcoin, especially with the ETFs gobbling them up. MicroStrategy buying some. Us, we buy every day. I buy every hour on the hour, and we're putting it into cold storage. So one day we're not going to be able to do this. That you won't see any of this stuff. You won't see any of the money, the dollar bills being traded for Bitcoin. I don't think people will accept it for Bitcoin. I really don't. Now this was interesting. I shared this earlier. This guy right here, Ki Young Ju, he did a Twitter post, X post. See if you can see that. And he made a bold claim, right? And I hope he's right. He said, Bitcoin bull cycle is over, expecting 6 to 12 months of bearish or sideways price action. And yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Do you agree with that? That the Bitcoin bull cycle is over? I didn't really even think it started, to be honest. But he said expecting 6 to 12 months. So what is it? March to September, or March until next March, of bearish or sideways price actions. And again, this is supposed to be the bull market. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat, man. That's a bold statement. I hope he's right, but I don't think so. I still got us going, and this is outside of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. I got us going at least up to 250. Outside of the strategic Bitcoin reserve, just absolutely going crazy buying Bitcoin. What do you guys think? Can you guys hear me still there? Everybody's quiet. Drop me a comment there so I know you're still there. Unless you guys are driving or something. There's only a few people in here right now. I don't want to be in here talking to myself. Check this real quick. Yes, 250 by the end of the year. That's what I think, Corey. And again, that's outside of us buying the government buying Bitcoin. So, all right, this is dashboard Clark Moody. I love this website. This is the most important thing, especially for Corey. Sats per dollar. 1,209 sats per dollar. Okay, Rick, thank you. 1,209 sats per dollar. I mean, we're going to be looking back at this, guys. And again, Corey from Got Sass is a living legend, man. I told him this. Go check out his channel. He's in the chat. Click on his name and go to his channel and support him and subscribe to him. He makes a video every 24 hours. He buys $1 a day. He's going to be on 60 Minutes for this. And the reason being because he makes the same video every single day. I think we'll be going to 110K by the end of the year. I hope you're right, man. The lower, the better. Seriously. The reason I say that, Corey, is because this is the bull run. But hey, we never know. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what's going to happen. That's just my prediction. And the prediction is just a fancy word for saying it, guess. But Corey makes a video every day, like I said. And he does the same thing, same cadence, sits in the same car. He says the same numbers and everything else. And I think they're going to do a 60-minute special on him or something because he's not buying a bunch. He's just buying the same amount every single day. And as the months go by and the years go by, and the cycles go by, every dollar that he spends, he's going to get less and less Satoshis, right? But it's going to be amazing when you first see his video on January 1st, 2025, that he was getting over 1,000 Satoshis or 900 or something in January, I believe. But then he still was getting 1,000 Satoshis. They're going to be looking back at this and not going to be believing it. Because again, when we hit $1 million, it's only 100 Satoshis per dollar. And that's great. Yep, same old video. No, but they're great, man. I love them, Corey. You're doing great. And then right here's our market cap as of right now, $1.64 trillion. And I'm going to show this on the next page. I got a bright light coming, guys. Refresh that. As we see, gold is number one at 20 trillion, their market cap. And then Bitcoin has fell to the 9th spot as of right now, which is fine. No problem. You know, the lower the better because we know what this thing is. You know, it's a piece of the finite pie, right? And you got silver doing well at 1.95. They're almost at 2 trillion. But again, silver and gold have been around for thousands of years, and we're not even a baby compared to that. But in human years, we're just a teenager. We're 16 years old, but we think Bitcoin is really going to stay around for hundreds or thousands of years. That's brand new, and that's not even a I was going to say something. Not even a what's floating around in a what, just crazy, man. So we're so young. One of my favorite websites, this is bitcoinsperperson.com. This really puts it in perspective, man. Really does. What it shows is your fair share, quote unquote, of Bitcoin if you split it evenly, right? So right now, if you split the 19,838,706.25 Bitcoin that's been mined so far since January 3rd, 2009, divided by the approximate number of people, 8.1 billion, this is your fair share right here. Now, who here has that at least, right? A lot of people, but if you have that, then you're cooking with grease. Rick, North Carolina just introduced a bill for a Bitcoin reserve. Yes. That's what's up. My daughter lives in North Carolina. I'm going to tell her about that. Hopefully they can get it passed. The only one I think that got it passed right now, Rick, is Texas. So yeah, Letha, you gotta bring it up to the floor in South Carolina. How's the weather out there, anyways? So yeah, so I love this. Given that a Bitcoin currently costs $82,667, there are only enough Bitcoins for every person to have $202.30 worth. So if you have that on your wallet or your exchange, you have at least that. Again, you got more than enough. If bitcoins were distributed using the current global distribution of wealth, 99.9% of people would have $38.48 worth of bitcoins, and people in the top 0.001% would have 0.73 bitcoins each, which is crazy. So if you think about that in real terms, right? this is and again, I know some of you that come to my channel and see me talking about this all the time. And like, oh, why does he keep talking about this? Because this is important. I gotta be like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan says, even though he did the same moves and sometimes he does the same things over and over, there could be somebody that knew that never saw him play, right? So I got to teach the fundamentals here, guys. I know it's easy for some of you, but for me it's not. But we got to understand what this is. And when you distribute it evenly, this is the number. But again, it's not distributed evenly, as I'll show you later in the next slide, I believe, that many companies are going to be buying a lot more than us. Countries are buying, the governments of those countries. Michael Saylor, of course, his company, ETFs, billionaires, millionaires, and they're not leaving, they're not moving. So with that being said, what is your fair share? Honestly, if I had to guess and had to do the math, I think 10 or 15,000 sats for somebody in 20, 25 years is going to be a heck of a savings account for somebody. I know that sounds crazy right now because 10 or 15,000 is only like what? Like 12 to 17 bucks, 12, 13, 17, 16 bucks or whatever, 18 bucks. But in the future with this finite supply, it's going to be much better. You know, I bet it won't be long, Letha. Yeah, I agree. Speaking of distribution, this is the Bitcoin rich list distribution. I made a mistake yesterday. I talked about addresses and wallets like they were the same thing. They are not. If you have a wallet, your wallet has a lot of different addresses in it. Now you can have different wallets. You know, you can have one cold card and one Jade and one, Blockstream Jade and another, a passport or something like that, or a ledger or a what is it, the Trezor and all that, and they'll all have different addresses to it. And most people do have more wallets than one. But if you look here and see where you're at, it'll show you, right? So it'll show you 0.001, 0.0001. That's how many addresses. 6,290,589. That's kind of like the dust. People that leave their Bitcoin or their Satoshis like on another wallet that was just too small to move over to another one or something like that. That's probably what that is. And then it gets a little bigger here, more addresses and stuff like that. So just take a look at these. I got the links in the description box, what these things are. But it's just good to see where you're at on each level, right? If you're even here, right? This is between 1% of Bitcoin, which is 1 million, to 10 million Satoshis right here. And there's 7,932,075 addresses that have that. And that's big, man. Jimmy John, what up, my black brother and sisters? Jimmy John in the house. Jimmy John, how you doing, sir? Sharper than sword. Yo, hello everyone. Thank you guys for coming. Jimmy, the OG, absolutely. Jimmy John gave me my biggest super chat yet. He gave me $20, which is very surprising for Jimmy John because Jimmy John's been ragging and going off on me for years on my channel, but I never blocked him, and I was much appreciated for what he did. All right, another Bitcoin ownership distribution. This is one that is kind of a graphic. But this is why I tell people to join Bitcoin Discords and Bitcoin groups, because we don't want to sell our Bitcoin to these people up here, right? The businesses, the funds, the governments. Because if you're anything like me and you got 90 some percent of your net worth in Bitcoin, and let's just say you don't have any cash, and you're an emergency happens, because it's hard to keep cash as a Bitcoiner, isn't it? It just is. And so you can have an outlet. You can join my Discord group right here. Kind of a commercial for it. Bitcoiners for Freedom, and it's a Signal group. We have Mia from the Bitcoin Gospel. Letha is in there. Got Sats. Corey's in there. Who else? Me. And am I forgetting anybody? Paul, he's in there as well. So yeah, so if you want to join that, it's $1 a month on the first of the month. And if you're a person that donates to the channel and stuff like that, obviously I won't make you pay because you're already paying. But yeah, it's on Signal. Download Signal, and we have some pretty good conversations on there. So if you want to sell some of your Bitcoin or just learn more about Bitcoin, it's good to be around other Bitcoiners. Rick, I'm in that 0.1 range trying to get to 0.2 ASAP. Let's go back to that. Rick, that's great, man. That's great. So you're right in here and you're trying to move up. Yeah. Just look at it. Every day when you get up, look at these. And again, I highly encourage every one of you guys to pull these, go to my description box and pull up all these windows and just go through them. You know what I mean? And see where you're at, what level you're at. Jimmy John, I don't deserve a credit for that super chat. I've been a deadbeat. I've been a deadbeat dad. As soon as I think he's gonna be serious, he's always a deadbeat dad for years, and I'm just trying to catch up on my back child support. Okay, man. That's an inside joke. He's always saying he's my daddy because he's messing with my mom. So he's, saying he's my dad and I'm his son. So touche, man. Good one. That's a good. I thought he was being serious. He gets me every time. But anyways, so this is the distribution. Businesses have 914,000, 4.4% of the supply. Funds and ETFs. I'll show you those later. 6.1%. Governments have about 300,000 Bitcoin. United States is leading that, and most of that, almost 80, 90% of it, or a little bit more, maybe not that much, maybe 2/3 of it is coming from the United States and China. And then other is in here. And then Satoshi has about 1 million. I've heard between that and 1.1 million. And then to be mined, 1.2 million. Again, we're in the Bitcoin gold rush. Lost is allegedly 1.57. I think it's more than that. I really do. And then here's us right here, guys. We're in the gold and we are about 70% of the supply. We own it. This is why I tell people don't ever, ever, ever sell it back to the exchanges. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Good luck, Jimmy. Rick James Robinson, you killed it. LOL, thanks. So yeah, you don't want to sell it back to the exchanges. Let's pull up this distribution chart here. This is the same thing except broken down a little bit more. This is all the public companies right there, top left. All the public companies, and it's got little small boxes. Whoops. And then private companies over here. Block One is number one. BitMEX, Mt. Gox, iShares, Bitcoin Trust for ETFs. That's BlackRock. And then Fidelity's number two. Grayscale's right behind them. And then governments, like I said earlier, United States and China own 70% of it. Then the UK has 61,000. Ukraine has a few. I don't know how many they're going to have left after the war. And then DeFi over here. And then down here is remaining coins in circulation. And that's us. That's the plebs and everything else. So, yeah, man. And again, the key to all this, it's finite, right? It just doesn't keep getting printed and this, that, and the first. It's a closed system. And there's only going to be 21 million. You can pass them back and forth, but when the demand goes up, the supply can't go up with it. You know what I mean? It just can't do it. Jimmy John, we got 8 viewing the stream and 8 likes. Y'all keep holding my man down like, whoa. I like that song too. I think we got 10 now, 10-9 in here. We got to start off somewhere. Just like my boy Corey says from God Sats. What do you say? How do you say it? It's not much, but it's something. So, hey, you got to start from the bottom. To get to 100, you got to start at 0. All right, so just a reminder, guys, how good Bitcoin is compared to the quote unquote other monies of store of value. Bitcoin is just the best, man. It's the scarcest. It's scarce, uninflatable, right? Compared to the dollar, it's not uninflatable. Gold is not uninflatable, right? Because again, as the demand for gold goes up, we'll find it more, right? We'll find it more in caverns and under the sea and in asteroid belts, you know, even other planets when Elon does it. Real estate as well, uninflatable. It's not because you can build more houses, you can print more dollars. Portable, you can port around Bitcoin for sure. Cash. I would say gold is portable. I would if it's small, but I guess if you're traveling overseas in a certain amount, you can't. You definitely can't travel with real estate. Durable. All of them are durable. International. Yep. I disagree with that one. I think the U.S. dollar is international. You can use a dollar almost anywhere, right? So fungible, yes. Real estate, no. Divisible, yeah. So you get the pictures, but Bitcoin has it all. Only thing Bitcoin doesn't have is the longevity. It hasn't been here long enough. So this right here is the plan, guys. I'm pull this up every time we come here because this is the plan. January 19th, 2035. That's my birthday. 99% of all Bitcoin will be mined. All of them. Right. And what does that really mean? What does that mean? You guys know about the gold rush of California in the 1800s. And the reason why they call it the gold rush because everybody rushed in to get the gold because it's a finite amount under the ground. And then once that 8-year period was up, that was it. It was over. But all the people that got in early and rushed in there again, people are still getting gold, but not like it was with the gold rush. All those people got rich, and the gold was not as valuable then as it is now because again, it was abundant during the gold rush, right? It was, if I said that wrong, sorry. It was less valuable then because there was so much to get until it got lower down, and now it's very scarce compared to what it was now before because you can't find it anywhere unless you really, really try. And that's what happened. And that's what the Satoshis are going to do. That's what Bitcoin is going to do, right? So from now until January 19th, 2035, uh, I think is the gold rush, like Michael Saylor says. And this is why I love to show this right. Now, this right here is from Wicked Smart. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. And this shows all 33 epochs all the way to the year 2140. So let's check it out. There it is. 3/4 through epoch 7. That's when we're at 99% mined, right? And that's what? How many years after we started? 32 years after we started? No, 24 years after we started in 2009. And 99% front loaded in 24 years. And then the rest of it is going to be mined in the next 103, 105 years. It's incredible, man. What we got here? Jimmy John. Be glad Bitcoin hasn't been around long because if Bitcoin was 109 years old, the price would be in the many millions. Exactly, Jimmy John. Exactly. Absolutely. Corey says, you're on a roll, Rick. I can't wait to get to 0.01. Yeah, that's a lot, man. 1 million Satoshis is a lot. Thanks, man. I think you are well on your way. We seem to still be early compared to most. Yeah, we're ahead of 99.5, 99.7% of the population in the planet. We just are, and the again, if we put a chip of all of our knowledge and what we know about Bitcoin into these newbies' brains, what would the price be, guys? It would be astronomical. By the way, oh, I got to give a shout out to Letha. Letha, I got to give you a shout out. I'm very sorry about that because yesterday, and I didn't even see it. Letha sent me 10,000 sats yesterday during the show, and I didn't even see it because she didn't tell me because she's just cool like that. You know what I mean? So I thank you very much. Letha is has donated so much to a lot of people. You know what I mean? She's just great, man. And she set what just the kindness in her heart and also the donations she's given to me and other Bitcoiners, and also when we're doing the Bitcoin Amigos, I always say that light over here there reminds me, or she she paid for that light. That's her light. But she set my family up for the future. My grandkids that don't even know her, and this is why I always give her props, because when my great grandkids go back and watch these videos and see my Satoshis and go, "Oh my God, Auntie Letha gave us those," and Paul as well. I want her to know. I want them to know, even though I'll be dead and gone, to know where they come from. And Letha, we love you very much, and we really, really, really appreciate all your knowledge you give us. I saw you in the chat on the Bitcoiners for Freedom chat, helping out Corey. Again, you guys got to join that group, because Letha will help you, or I'll help you, man. So thank you very much, Letha. We love you. We really do. All right, so yeah, so there it is, man. I can go play the whole thing, but you guys know it. 33 epochs, um, block height 1.4 million. We're coming up on 1 million blocks too, guys. I think that'll be what soon, maybe 2027. We'll be at 1 million, something like that. That's going to be a big one. I showed you guys this yesterday. This is a let me see. If it'll pull up. This is Plan B Network. This is a website you can take some courses and learn about Bitcoin. So if you're new and you want to do your studying, this is great. You can check this out. Again, one of my favorite websites, timechangestats.com. And this has probably every Bitcoin metric you can possibly imagine. Especially one of my favorites, the hash rate. And then what the hash rate is how many computers that are quote unquote mining Bitcoin there are. And the faster the hash rate, that means there's more computers and there's more people mining for Bitcoin. So as it goes up, the hash rate, that means there's more people trying to get to it, and then the price is going to obviously go up. And it always follows a hash rate, like Max Kaiser says. So go check that website out. It's really, really good. Another one of my favorites. This is, if it pulls up. Oh, we'll go back to this until it pulls up. Sometimes that one's slow. I hit refresh. That's where. Okay, here it is. This is timechain-calendar.com. Another one we love. Again, put all these indicators and all these websites on your desktop, right? It'll show you the block height. It'll show you the orange one right here is blocks to halving. Again, that's 210,000 blocks. That goes all the way around. And half of 210,000 is 105,000, which is down here. And then half of the 105 is 52,500. So yeah, a lot of good indicators here, man. You can mess around with this and move what was going on during this block, what month, date, what the price was. It's great, man. Really good way to study Bitcoin. All right, we got another bright light coming here, guys, real quick. Fear and greed index. Everything has a fear and greed index. Stocks, real estate, stuff like that. But for quote unquote Bitcoin or crypto, this is the one I'd like to use, because again, when this is down, I try to pile in and buy more, especially when it's really, really red here, yellow, green, and stuff like that. That means Just keep my DCA up. Don't smash buy. Down here, I like to smash buy because, again, like Warren Buffett says, the more fearful everybody else is, you do the opposite. Right? It's the same thing with mainstream media and everything else too. Everything that people are listening to and believe it, and everything else, and everything what everybody else is doing, I just do the opposite. Well, people are waking up though. Got to give them credit for that. Speaking of the mainstream media, if y'all hadn't hit the like button, go ahead and smash it for my man who's working overtime for us. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Man, Jimmy's taking he turned over a new leaf. So speaking of the mainstream media, I want to play this. This is Tim Burchett. He's a senator. House of Representative out of Tennessee, and he went on CNN. I should play the whole thing, but I'm just going to play this.
Well,
and the propagandists, not the journalists, the propagandists, were asking him questions about the judge trying to turn the cargo ship around when they had the Venezuelan gangs in here. And again, these people are so stupid, man. The mainstream media, like, why? I know you got to go against Trump, everything he says, but it's just like, dude, leave this one be. You know what I mean? Don't mess with it. Great info. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Mimi. Made it home, Jerry. What'd I miss? Not much. I just did some numbers and stuff. So you can just stay with us, and then after we're done, you can go back and look at it. I'll make some clips of it later. Thank you. All right, so let's play this, man. Let's watch this propaganda. Tim Burchett just absolutely annihilates this dude. Check it out.
Well, but so no matter what a judge
he's taking the side of a bunch of criminals.
He hasn't taken any. He hasn't taken any side yet, Congressman. He hasn't taken any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on.
Now they're talking, for context, they're talking about the judge. Now this judge, by the way, he's not a Supreme Court justice that's trying to stop Trump and telling Trump what to do. He's just a little small, lower level district court judge who's woke as hell and hates Trump. So this idiot right here, this propagandist, is trying to pretend like, oh, well, the judge is not blah, blah, blah. He's trying to frame it like he's not being biased against Republicans. Because again, anytime a Republican or a MAGA Republican really comes on CNN or MSDNC, they always argue with him.
Any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on the White House action here so that he can review their use of their novel use, frankly, of the Alien Enemies
Oh, come
Act.
on. These guys, listen. These guys, the difference between God and these judges is God knows he's not one of these judges. They're arrogant. They practice this type of thing all the time.
Did you hear that? I gotta play that again.
God knows he's not one of these judges. The difference between God and these judges is God knows he's not one of these judges. They're arrogant. They practice this type of thing all the time. And if you had a conservative one doing it, you all would be raising total hell.
Again, Congressman, this isn't a question. This isn't a question about the media. This isn't a question about the media. No one's taking a side here. Congressman,
yes,
no one's taking a side here.
He is not.
I'm asking you about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution taking a side. All I'm asking.
You're not asking about the Constitution because you're asking about the Constitution. Why weren't you asking that with Joe Biden when he went against the judge's rules? You don't give a shit about the Constitution. You're a propagandist. Again, they keep going towards the 20 versus the 80, right? This is an 80-20 issue. 80% of the country want gang members and murderers and rapists and sex traffickers and gang members and terrorists out of the country, right? But you're worried about the Constitution? Again, anytime you hear the Democrats talking about Constitution, democracy, blah, 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 it's all about Democrat power control and trying to stop Trump, right? These people are so Trump deranged and so messed up about going against everything he's doing. You're literally going against most Americans, the majority of Americans want. They should have just left this one alone, man.
Taking a side. All I'm asking you is about the Constitution, what you think of it, and what you would advise this White House and your feeling about judicial rulings. And that seems to be upsetting you. I'm just trying to get your position on this and what you would advise the White House going forward.
It's not upsetting. I guess what upsets me is that you all at CNN continuously take the side of the far left, and that's why your ratings continue to plummet. And I do not ever understand why y'all do that. every time. I know you got to take the opposite side on everything, but you all are wrong on this one.
We
Listen, this is a
appreciate your
gang that
concern
took
here.
over an
There's
apartment
not been a
complex in
side
Colorado.
taken.
They
There's
murdered
not been a
people.
side
They
taken.
are
We're
criminals.
trying to
They
understand. Now,
are
you can
criminals.
argue.
They are not
You
American
can argue.
citizens. Quit
You
taking
can,
their side,
Congressman.
CNN.
Congressman,
What is
can you?
wrong with you
Can
all?
you, Congressman?
You are so out of touch with what's 85% of this country
Congressman?
does not support what you are spewing out right now.
We
And
haven't
this judge
spewed.
is
The
complete
only one
overreach.
spewing
He's
is the
an
guy who's
activist.
talking
How
uninterrupted
long
right
does it
now.
take him to review this stuff? How long does it take him to review this stuff? These judges, he'll sit on his ass for months so these criminals can stay in this country. This is all this is. This is overreach. And I'll guarantee you, if his kids had been murdered or raped, as has happened in this country to several American citizens by these thugs, that he would be taking a different position. But he's protected. You all protect him. You all have got to come off this. Seriously, I don't know how you all sleep at night when you protect criminals, murderers,
Congressman,
and rapists.
can I ask you to?
Boom. Exactly. Real quick. Jimmy John, thank you so much, man. $5. I know I'm still behind, but I'm gonna try to put a little something on it. He's behind the child support, y'all. Thank you so much, Jimmy John. Seriously, thank you, man. Jimmy John, buy Peep Coin. No, nobody's buying that. Yeah, basically these propagandists are just liars, man. You know what I mean? They're just liars. They're on the wrong side, as always. You know what I'm saying? This is why I love Tim Burchett, because he's one of the only quote unquote Republicans. He's a MAGA Republican, America First, that goes on there and calls these people out. When I was going out talking to people and stuff like this and campaign, I had a lot of people tell me that I should run. You should run for this or run for that. I could never run to be a politician because I can't be fake. I can't be doing this garbage. You know what I mean? Because I'd be just like Tim Burchett. If I ever went on a show like this, I would be completely calling these people out. I would have everything written down of what I was going to say about how you lie about for Joe Biden. You covered up for Joe Biden this whole freaking time, these last 4 years. You know what I mean? All they do is try to go against Donald Trump and scare people. You know what I mean? But they're trying to frame it when they're talking to the idiots and the sheeples out there. They're trying to frame it as, oh, this is a constitutional crisis. They all say the same thing at the same time, man. It just pisses me off, man. It just does, and it just irks the heck out of me, man.
Protect criminals, murderers,
Congressman,
and
can I ask you to stop for 1 second here? I think if you go through and analyze the questions, well,
yeah, do me a favor, go and watch that thing in full. It is so freaking funny. Oh my God, it's so funny. These Democrats are cooked, man. They're so cooked. Sadie, hey, Sadie, how you doing? Good to see you. Even better that you should be running. Yeah, I can't, Corey. I can't, man. This is just again, I'd be cursing and just, I can't play the games, man. I just can't. So Chuck Schumer today has been making his rounds trying to appease the far left. He went on CBS today, and then he also went on The View, and The View confronted him. What's her name? What's the one cackling hen? Sunny Holston. She confronted him and called him right out to his face. I want to see if I can find it. I don't know if it's on this. The clip's been everywhere, but she basically said, "You're a coward, and you let the hey Sadie, and you let Donald Trump off the hook." And the reason I'm talking about Chuck Schumer and also Hakeem Jeffries is because they're the leaders of the Democrat Party right now, right? He's the leader of the Senate, and Hakeem Jeffries is the leader of the House. What's going to happen to Democrats? And I'm telling you guys this because I know a lot of you have family and friends that are Democrats. The Democrats are being taken over by the far left, progressive, woke crazies over there, right? And Chuck Schumer did something very reasonable. Again, I always say this about Democrats. They're hypocrites at the base layer, right? And then on top of that base layer, you have idiots and actors, right? Chuck Schumer is not an idiot. He's an actor, right? And he knows all the stuff he's been saying today. Oh, constitutional crisis, democracy. They're trying to take away your Social Security and Medicare and all this other stuff and Medicaid. It's all lies. Donald Trump is trying to protect the billionaires and all this other. It's an oligarchy. The biggest oligarchy in this country is the Democrat Party. The one who are ran by billionaires is the Democrat Party. If you look at Kamala Harris and what she raised, she raised double than what Donald Trump raised, right? So they're trying to fool people. So I'm trying to show you guys this so you can get yourself educated so you can talk back to these stupid talking points. But my point is, someone reasonable like Chuck Schumer, even though he's an idiot, okay, he's somewhat reasonable. He's kind of an old school Democrat, but he's starting to bend the knee to the woke left party, like a portion of the party, like the AOCs and the Jasmine Crockett's of the party. These people don't stand a chance, man. But I want the Democrat Party to start coming back to the middle, because again, the better we have and more competition we have, the better the country's going to have, right? Better country we're going to have. But we just have MAGA just taking over. Even though I love MAGA, they're going to be able to do whatever they want. Because they say, oh, the far left's idiots, just listen to us, and they may be able to do some things we don't even like. So we need to have competition here. And right now, the far left is just too crazy, man. They really are. So. All right, guys, just as a reminder, if you are a Bitcoiner and serious about Bitcoin, go to the Fold app, and or the link in my description box, and sign up for the Fold app. It's a debit card, and when you use it, using my link, you'll get yourself 20,000 free sats. So if you're a Bitcoiner or just starting off with Bitcoin, you can go ahead and do that. And that helps the channel. It really does. All right, right here we have the other cryptocurrencies compared to Bitcoin. This is coinmarketcap.com. And what this is this shows you, if you take all the market caps of all these, what coins down here, they don't even compare to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is always going to be number one. Always, right? Because there is no second best. We know that. And Tether doesn't even matter. So if you're a person that has cryptos, I'm not telling you not to have them, but I'm just highly suggesting you to do. And if you're going to talk to anybody about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, is to look at it through a Bitcoin lens. You know what I mean? Really. And study that first, and then worry about the cryptos later. Because again, Bitcoin is the only crypto. It's just backed by crypto. It's not really a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is the only one that doesn't have an issuer. It doesn't have an owner, and it doesn't have a CEO or a CFO or anything like that. It's a protocol like the internet. And then if you look at this here, excuse me, this will show you the market cap dominance of Bitcoin. And it's at about 61.5% of all the cryptos combined, right? But that's kind of misleading, because Tether and a couple other stable coins are not cryptos. So it's probably the market share is probably between 70, 80, 90%. So again, like the great Michael Saylor says, there is no second best. And then I showed this yesterday, the market cap dominance of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, or Bitcoin over cryptocurrencies, the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. And as you can Bitcoin just dominates. If you go through the years, Bitcoin is always at the top, number one, and the rest of them can't even come close. So this is a long-winded way to say, don't mess with the S coins, man. They're just a waste of time. They really are. You know what I mean? I got into it in the beginning, and I learned quickly that there's only one way to do this, guys. So, and speaking about other cryptocurrencies, let's see what the chat's saying. Can you imagine being married to Jay Crockett and having to listen to her mouth every day? Yeah, exactly. She's a nice looking lady, but she's just stupid as heck. Are altcoins any worse than getting to the casino and sitting down at the poker table? Well, it's gambling. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like the same. But I'm a pretty good poker player, so I'd rather put my money into poker than altcoins. Looks like Ethereum is always second behind Bitcoin, so maybe there is a second best. Well, it's not always second. It is mostly second. But that's a good observation, Jimmy John. I appreciate it, man. You're always helping me out. But speaking of other cryptos, these are the exchanges, the major exchanges that have other cryptos. And as you can see, Coinbase sold off 1,262 Bitcoin on there. So that's a lot. I don't know why they sold that much. Coinbase is always going to be the main one because they hold. I think they hold. No, I don't want to. Do they hold MicroStrategies? Let me know in the chat if they hold MicroStrategy. I don't think so. Because I don't know if they have a wallet. They never show it, but I heard they did. I don't know. But they definitely hold BlackRock's Bitcoin. Then you got Binance and stuff like that. So these are the 24-hour changes of red outgoing and green incoming. And then right here is the balance. So you can see that. Make myself a little smaller. And the yellow is the Bitcoin price and the balance is the green. And as you can see, they kind of correlate. And somebody taught me that there's really not Bitcoin on the exchange. It just goes back and forth. I kind of disagree with that. He may be in the chat that told me that. But as the price goes up, the exchanges get lowered because there's more Bitcoin leaving and vice versa. So yeah, these are interesting indicators right here. And just as a reminder, in the description box, and a reminder to not mess with those exchanges that have other currencies. Just use Bitcoin only. Let's see. Looks like if the U.S. government just match all the Bitcoin they confiscated, would be in a way better place. Yeah, just match it because we've confiscated over. That's a good observation, Trey. Because we, confiscated 200,000, and if we bought 200,000, that'd be great. But they're saying they're going to buy 200,000 a year. So, but yeah, guys, in the description box, if you use my links, I have a link to Bitcoin Well, Swan, and Strike. So just a reminder, go ahead and go over there and check those out and get yourself some free Satoshis, guys. It's the best way to do it. Bitcoin only companies. Then the latest Bitcoin news is Bank of Korea says no to Bitcoin as a reserve asset. This is how we know we're early, guys. Right? When you see stuff like this, just like when Microsoft turned down Bitcoin in their asset sheet and on their assets or their balance sheet, they said no. They didn't even want to put a small percentage of it. And like Michael Saylor says, because they don't need it. I guess Bank of Korea doesn't need it either. Let's read this real quick. Bank of Korea says no to Bitcoin as a reserve asset. Despite increasing talks around the world about Bitcoin reserves, the Bank of Korea stays firm and denies the possibility. The Bank of Korea has ruled out the possibility of including Bitcoin in its foreign exchange reserves. Despite rising global talk about Bitcoin being part of a national financial strategy, South Korea's central bank remains firm, citing high volatility and low and liquidity concerns. When you hear stuff like this, citing high volatility and liquidity concerns, they don't understand Bitcoin. They just don't. IMF told them no. That's probably true. And this is why I tell you guys to study. When you have banks saying no, but you guys are buying, again, these sats are going to be much, much more expensive to these people. The only advantage that you have on them, because obviously they have more cash than us, they have more resources, is time. Every hour that you spend studying is an hour you have ahead of them, and that's more Satoshis you can get at a lower price than they can. That's what it all comes down to, guys. Seriously. I wanted to also react. Kathy Woods was talking today. She was on Bloomberg, and I wanted to react to this real quick. Let's see what Kathy Woods, they were talking about Bitcoin. Let's see what Kathy Woods has to say.
For Bitcoin's price. In recent weeks, you've come out and said 1.5 million. I want to start right with Bitcoin and what you see as the outlook for its price. In recent weeks, you've come out and said $1.5 million per Bitcoin by the year 2030. Since then, though, we've seen quite a few outflows. We've seen a lot of volatility. Shonali just went through that. Is that still your view? 1.5 million by 2030?
Yes, it is our view. I think right now we're in a risk-off period generally. And if you've been watching Bitcoin, it's almost been a leader in terms of risk on, risk off. So I think that's what we're seeing. If we look at our on-chain analytics, what we see is, I'm sorry, I have to get this off. if you look at our on-chain analytics, what you will see is that we are in the middle of, we're a little bit more than halfway through a 4-year cycle. We think we're still in a bull market. And we believe that the deregulation that we're seeing here in the United States is going to be very important to institutions moving into this new asset class. Asset allocators have to have a point of view on this new asset class. And we think by putting it in portfolios, risk-adjusted returns for the entire portfolio will go up.
And that's important. The deregulation, that what Trump is talking about, deregulating crypto, quote unquote, and letting the banks and the companies put it on their balance sheet and get rid of the red tape. That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal because again, we want to front run these big boys. You know what I mean? And they're coming in slowly but surely. Don't let the price fool you guys. Okay, people are getting into Bitcoin.
One question I have to the point you're making here on where the risk appetite stands around Bitcoin versus other asset classes, there has been a serious dip in markets, Kathy. If you had to choose where you would buy the dip the most, would it be in Bitcoin, Tesla, or Nvidia?
Oh my goodness. Well, we post our trades every day, and you'll see that we've been buying Tesla and names that mimic Bitcoin and other crypto assets like Coinbase, like Robinhood, taking advantage of this risk-off period.
So what does this mean in terms?
Mimic Bitcoin, Coinbase, and all that? No, I do agree. Even though I don't have any stocks, I sold all my stocks. I do agree that I do want to. I was saying this yesterday. I do want to buy some Tesla, not because I want to buy it as an investment or nothing like that. I just want to support Elon Musk. You know what I mean? I think my energy would be a lot better going into Bitcoin, but I do want to give back to Elon for what he's done for us and to this country, for this country. And also, I think he's saving the astronauts today, if I'm not mistaken. But like I showed you in the beginning of the clip, where he's just going through all this stuff, they're trying to burn down Tesla buildings, shooting them up, messing up the cars and stuff. He's doing all this stuff for free. He doesn't have to do it. So I'm definitely going to buy some Tesla stock while it's down, by the way, because we know it's going back up. And Tesla's not just a car company; it's like 6 companies in one.
Terms of where you see things going, do you see more of a sell-off before things get better in these risk assets, Bitcoin or otherwise? How do you know?
Jimmy John says, bro, I got to run. The Hawk's Nest just dropped another video. Shout out to my boy Brandon. So I got to watch the channel and see what's good. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat and the funny comments.
Know that we're not at the lows.
So
before things get better in terms of where you see things going, do you see?
Oh my goodness. And like Coinbase, like advantage of this risk-off period.
So what does this mean in terms of where you see things going? Do you see more of a sell-off before things get better in these risk assets, Bitcoin or otherwise? How do you know that we're not at the lows?
So one of the things we think is going on right now is, and Treasury Secretary Bessent today said he does not believe that we're going into a recession. We think we've been in a rolling recession and that we are actually going to see some negative quarters here. And that's because the velocity of money is collapsing as people, the labor force is worried that, and we're talking about federal, state, and local, quasi-government categories like education and healthcare. There's a lot of fear around job security right now. So we see the saving rate going up. We see the velocity of money coming down. And we do think we'll see 1 or 2 negative quarters.
So yeah, I was talking about this in a video the other day. I was showing you the velocity of the M2 money supply. And what they're talking about is, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. See if I can find that. And the reason why the savings rate's going up is because people are not spending. And that's exactly what the Trump administration wants, I believe. Right? They want, they want people to keep their money in the savings account because they don't want people to, I don't know where I put that chart at. They don't want people to be spending, and they want the velocity to go down. They want the money supply to stay stagnant and not increase. I don't know if I exited out, maybe. I'm gonna find that chart. I had it up the other day. It was the M2 velocity. Here, I'll pull it up again. And like they said, there are going to be negative quarters. GDP wise. And we did have that in 2022, but they changed the definition to velocity. And it is going to be rough, right? Let me stop. Let's see. There it is right here. It's a calculation. It's showing okay. And the lower it goes, that means like right here in 2020, Q2 of 2020, that was in the height of the pandemic, or the scamdemic, I like to call. And the reason why the velocity was very, very low then is because everybody was home and nobody was spending money. Now, of course, we creeped up slowly but surely, but overall, we're still low. And again, this is not trillions of dollars measured in billions or trillions. This is an equation between what's out there. And right now, we're at 1.386, and according to Scott Bessent, like Kathy Wood said, it's going to be going down because people are hurting, man. People don't have the money to buy stuff. You know what I mean? So Trump, while we're going through this painful fake economy that Biden created, while we're going through this, there's going to be some pain. And we got to go through it to change it because, again, it's built on fake jobs from the government. You know, they're saying, oh, the job report is up and this, that, and the third. Well, they were all government jobs. They were fake jobs. And also, remember those 810,000 jobs that they just happened to forget? Oh, yeah, those are fake jobs. We had those wrong. The mainstream media didn't say nothing about that. That was all a lie. It's just crazy what these people do, man.
What we believe that will do is set this administration up and the Fed up with more degrees of freedom for tax cuts and perhaps lower interest rates, or at least ending quantitative tightening.
What do you see as the rate path for this year? The Federal Reserve kicking off its two-day policy meeting today. We're going to hear from Jay Powell tomorrow. How many rate cuts do you see happening this year, Kathy?
Well, we tend not to be very short-term in our focus, but if we're right, and inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations, we wouldn't be surprised to see 2 or 3 cuts. Now, if you look at an indicator called Trueflation, it's probably the broadest measure of inflation out there. It is saying inflation is down to 1.65%, well below where the Fed is pinning it at roughly the CPI's 2.8%. And we believe that the combination of actually food prices have started coming down, even egg prices have started to collapse. As a matter of fact, gasoline prices are coming down. We're seeing some rent prices coming down. So we think inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations for those reasons, and because innovation is inherently deflationary. And our 5 innovation platforms are all driving different kinds of deflation, good deflation, which we'll call unit growth, but deflation nonetheless. So we think the Fed is going to have many more degrees of freedom in the second half of this year than most people think. We could see more than the number I just suggested, 2 to 3 cuts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're going to cut down, and that's Trump's plan. He wants to cut it down. And yeah, like she said, it's deflationary, and the trueflation, according to the chart, is down compared to that. But you think they're going to say that in the mainstream media? All they're going to talk about is because the first 4 years when Biden was in, they just lied and said, "Oh, the inflation is transitory." What do you mean inflation is bad? And blah blah blah. They just lied, right? And I told everybody as soon as Trump came in office, all of a sudden everybody's experts, politicians, and economists now. You know, they completely ignored inflation until Trump came in office. It's these people, man. It's just crazy. Anyways, I want to show you guys the great Michael Saylor. He had a little speech the other day with his sunglasses on, and I wanted to react to it. So let's take a look.
This is kind of historic entry point because this is kind of historic entry point because all of the risk has been stripped off the asset. Like, you pretty much know Wall Street's going to embrace it, the U.S. government's going to embrace it, and banks in the U.S. going to embrace it, which means that all the other banks will embrace it. You already know all those things, and yet the market is really skittish based upon concerns about tariffs, you know, the disposition of the U.S. economy, the interest rate forward graph. And so you see the interest rates have pulled in 30, 40, 50 basis points, and we're in this macro risk off zone. When that flips, I think Bitcoin will rip forward with a vengeance.
Now, you said Wall Street's going to embrace it, and that is true, but still it's limited. I've been talking to these RIAs here. Many of them are very interested in Bitcoin, but a lot of them have questions when I walk around and say, what do you want to hear from Michael Saylor? They say, well, we're still concerned about suitability issues. We still have issues about recommending them to our clients. This is still a real concern. What do you say to those who are still concerned about suitability?
Study Bitcoin, idiots. Again, we're so early, guys. We're so early. I literally clicked on your live, and what a surprise. Your hero Gaylor is talking. I issue not. Yeah, I like Michael Saylor, man. But yeah, these people have no idea. Like, we got a no coiner right here. The Troll 683. He doesn't have any Bitcoin. He says he refused to buy it. There's a lot of people out here like this that don't understand what it is. You know what I mean? That's why I keep telling you to study, because again, the worries that these people have about the volatility and blah, 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 they have no idea, man.
The only asset endorsed by a president of the United States in 50 years is Bitcoin. I mean, go back in the last 200 years in the history of the country. And I think if you go to the founding fathers, they wrote in the Constitution that money is silver and gold coin. And then at some point, there was a chicken in every pot. And maybe with the founding of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we endorsed everybody to single family home ownership. But in the 21st century, you have just one asset, Bitcoin. The president saying, don't sell your Bitcoin, saying more than that, saying the United States won't sell its Bitcoin. And so everything else you put your client into, if the US government seized any other security that you sold to a client, if they seized any collectible, any art, any real estate, they would sell it. The only thing that the US government won't sell if they are to seize it is Bitcoin.
Facts. Facts. I mean, again, man, the writing's on the wall, man. People are just something else. Speaking of the writing on the wall, MicroStrategy bought some more Bitcoin. Has acquired 130 Bitcoin for 10.7 million at 82,981 per Bitcoin. It has achieved Bitcoin yield of 6.9% year to date. Now we're going to react to another video explaining how that works. They have a new strategy now that we're going to get into in a second. But here's the breakdown of it right here. They got a PDF version. United States Securities and Exchange Commissions. And that's what they did with that. And then you click on the PDF version is there. I'll leave the link in the description box for that. But yeah, that's probably the smallest buy I've ever seen. 100 and something Bitcoin for them. But let's listen to Cryptos Are Us. He broke it down of what Michael Saylor and Strategy's new strategy is. Let's take a look at this.
Michael Saylor just put this out. MicroStrategy today announced the launch of Strife, a new perpetual preferred stock offering available to institutional investors and select non-institutional investors. For more information, keep in mind MicroStrategy or Strategy just came out with Strike, which is a preferred stock not too long ago, maybe a month ago. I don't even think it's been 2 months, just a month ago. And now Saylor's coming out with another preferred stock, but this one's a perpetual preferred stock called Strife. And it's very confusing. So, you know what? I had Grok do a little homework and a little comparison for me, the difference between the two. Strife is, okay, first of all, in terms of shares, there's going to be 5 million shares for Strife versus the 7.3 million shares, okay, for Strike. So a little bit less. Now, here's the big difference. Strife is supposed to give a fixed 10% dividend. That's more than Strike's. Strike is giving an 8% dividend. So that's 2% more, already making it more attractive. But here's the thing. There could be a possibility that Strife does not pay the dividend every quarter. I don't know what kind of metric or what kind of goals that they have to meet to pay, but if it doesn't pay in that quarter that it's supposed to pay, then the dividend goes up by 1%. And it'll keep going up until it hits 18%. So theoretically, there could be, 2 years, 8 quarters of no payment, and then that quarterly becomes 18%. And the dividend is only paid in cash. That's the difference. Strike, on the other hand, is a fixed 8% paid every quarter, and the dividend is paid in cash or stock or both. Okay. And Strike, you could also use it to convert to MicroStrategy shares. So there's a conversion for Strike, where Strife, there's no conversion. So, it's starting to get really confusing. Now, as an investor, do you go with Strife because you could possibly get more dividend, but you get less, there's a chance that there's no dividend. You may have to wait quarters before you get it. And you don't get the upside of MicroStrategy stock if it goes up because you can't convert it. So there's a risk there, right? And, all this is starting to add confusion. And if you're a MicroStrategy shareholder, this takes away from the appeal of holding MicroStrategy stock itself. When Strike came out, I said this too, it's going to kind of cause a divide between shareholders, right? Because now people are going to say, well, should I buy Strike or MicroStrategy? And people were arguing with me saying, well, you don't understand. This is a different stock and, there's different purposes. I get it. Theoretically, they all serve different purposes. But in reality, as a retail investor, now you have 2 options. But after this, you have 3 options, even though this is stated, this is mostly for institutional investors. But I have a feeling retail investors will be able to buy this too, because even he said it, not some non-institutional investors, right?
I think so too. I just want to show you guys that for you can understand a little bit better what MicroStrategy is doing or strategy is doing in the future. Because again, the only way you should buy strategy is if you have a portfolio. I'm not saying what to do or whatever. My wife has she had a retirement portfolio and we put it into that. But any loose dollars I have outside of my bills, I put it into Bitcoin. I don't put any dollars into strategy. Strategy is just an investment. You know what I mean? Bitcoin is a savings. So the troll, what are your thoughts? He is making a business and you think, okay, that's at me. At LeJerry, hold it. I thought stocks or bad. Or it's only bad if it's something that your heroes don't endorse. Answer me. Well, I just did. I got MicroStrategy, and I was also talking about buying Tesla stock too for Elon Musk. So, God says, I think it's bad for the gun. Okay, why can't I find strength? Well, there's a reason he's a billionaire, seems to me. What do you see? Yeah, the troll. I think the troll is going to buy Bitcoin when it hits like 2 million. Then he'll get like 50 sats per dollar. But again, you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Well, I caught Michael Saylor and Donald Trump at a bar the other day, and they were talking. So let's see what they had to say to each other.
Listen, Michael, let me tell you how this works. I do it. I dump the markets, big dump. Everyone's crying. I start the recession fears, total fear. The media eats it up. Then I cut the rates I tell them to. And boom, everything goes up. Stocks, Bitcoin, everything. And guess what? I buy the bottom. I always buy the bottom. Then I say, let's pivot. And the bull market begins. It's beautiful. I run the whole thing. They don't want you to know that, but I just told you. You're welcome.
That's kind of funny. It's a joke, but that's pretty much what's going on. He can't change the interest rates, but I believe a little bit of that is going on. So let's see if I can find this video. Okay, so Laura Trump, we did a little thing on her yesterday. She's really getting into cryptos and Bitcoin. So let's check this out. This is a good little segment she did. Put the speed up a little bit. Let's see what she has to say.
Good evening. Hope you're having a great Saturday night, and welcome back to My View. Well, you're probably like me, and Bitcoin and crypto are a foreign language to a lot of us. It's actually something many of you have been curious about. But when you can't see the dollar bills in front of you, it can be a concept that's difficult to understand. But let's start with the basics. We've established a strategic Bitcoin reserve, putting us at the cutting edge of cryptocurrency's potential.
Last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing. The federal government is already among the largest holders of Bitcoin. Unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government has foolishly sold tens of thousands of additional Bitcoin that were worth billions and billions of dollars had they not sold them, but they did sell them, mostly during the Biden administration. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin.
Sailor, you have over 48 patents, and now you are so big into the Bitcoin crypto space. How did you get introduced to crypto initially?
In 2013, I heard about Bitcoin, but I didn't need it, and I just dismissed it as an oddity. And in 2020, my company faced an existential crisis, and I realized that I was either going to have a fast death or a slow death, or I needed to take a risk and transform the business. So what we did is we looked around for something like digital gold that we could purchase on our company's balance sheet that would save the company and give us a future. And so that's how I came across crypto.
And how's he been doing so far? Think he's been doing pretty good? The troll, your wife, you mean the name of the other spouse? Laughing emoji. You mean the name of the other spouse? I don't even hate to say this, but Trump doesn't drink. Nah, he don't drink. I heard he never take a sip. Nope, he doesn't. He doesn't. So let's take a look at MicroStrategy. They haven't updated the 130 Bitcoin he has. So now it's 499,206, I believe, right? 296 or whatever it is, 130 plus that. So they're definitely leading the charge of Bitcoin. And then we have the other ETFs here. Let's see what they did. BlackRock has 567,000 Bitcoin. Yesterday on St. Patrick's Day, they bought 500. Everybody bought something or didn't buy anything all. Nobody sold yesterday. Fidelity picked up 1,500. ARC 21, Kathy Woods, we saw earlier, she picked up over 1,000. Grayscale 169, Bitwise 27. For a total of they added 3,250 Bitcoin yesterday. Let me stop it right there. Let me say this. And let me zoom in on that. 3,250 Bitcoin yesterday. Okay, that's what they bought. One company bought 3,250 Bitcoin. What does that mean? Well, that means there were only 450 minted yesterday. So they bought what, 8 times the supply, 7.5% of the supply that was minted yesterday? That's what they bought. Again, ignore the price, guys. Okay, these finite, scarce asset of Bitcoin is getting scooped up like it's nobody's business. So that's just one company, and I'm not saying people weren't selling off and other people weren't selling off, but again, overall they're not selling off. Right now they have, with that purchase, they have a lot. I know it's over 1 million. Yeah, 1.1 over 1.1. 222,623 Bitcoin. So, I mean, guys, I'm not a mathematician here. You guys do the math on that. So, here's some more ETF holdings in chart form. Flows in and out. It's just like the Bitcoin chart. They go in and out, but it always goes up and to the right. Holdings. MicroStrategy. iBit. These boys are buying them up, man. They're buying them up. And just as a reminder, my name is Jerry from Jerry Loves Freedom. Anybody new here, you guys can subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. If you guys want to help out the channel, you can donate. And in the Poor Man's Plan, you can share this video, and I really, really appreciate it. Adoption 2025. we're early, guys. We're early. That's where we're at on the adoption curve. You know what I mean? Do you remember? Are you guys old enough to remember when the internet came out? Amazon, Apple, any of these things? What were people saying in the beginning? The math tells me to stack and hold. Me too, Rick. That's what it tells me. It's really that simple, man. Really that simple. And again, like I showed you yesterday, when you see these countries, the percentage of people in each country buying, you think it's going to go higher or lower in the future? You tell me. And then you got El Salvador, despite what the IMF is saying, they're still buying, right? Look at that chart. Up and to the right. They're buying at least one Bitcoin every single day, sometimes more. And they'll again in the future they'll be the richest country in the world. You know, per capita, per Satoshi. It's insane. Then you got Cynthia Lummis here.
Thank
She and I saw this earlier. A lot of the senators, because she's a senator out of Wyoming, a lot of the senators are agreeing with her bill. She's going around talking to each one of them about the Bitcoin Act bill, right? She already says Trump is in favor of her bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin.
you. It's been a joy to be with you today. Michael Saylor, that may be one of the dozen best presentations I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, what a... And to all of you, you are the future. And this is so exciting. And I wish everybody could catch the same fever for the future of America and what Bitcoin brings to it that we all have. I'd like to announce that we will be reintroducing the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve today, the Bitcoin Act in the Senate. So far, original co-sponsors are Tuberville, Blackburn, Marshall, Sullivan, Marino, and Justice. We have a couple more feelers out for original co-sponsors today, but the House as well, through Nick Begich, has 6 original co-sponsors. The momentum is in our hands, and we need to make this happen. Thankfully, President Trump is with us, and the opportunities are boundless. Thank you for being at this conference. Thank you for making it so very special. And I will turn it back to the Bitcoin Policy Institute. Thank you very much.
You talking about building statues of somebody. That woman right there, they're going to name a city or a county, state after her. The work that woman's put in behind the scenes and out front is incredible. She's been involved with Bitcoin since 2017. And the work she's done, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here, to be honest with you. So you got to give credit to Cynthia Lummis. I just love that woman so much. And what do you think is going to happen here, man? You know, we're sitting in the low 80s right now. The Satoshis you have in your cold storage are worth whatever in fiat currency right now. They're gonna be much more rare because more people are going to buy it, and they're going to be the purchasing power of those are going to go up exponentially. It just is, right? It may not seem like that. A lot of times in Bitcoin, it's just very quiet and we're just lulling to sleep, but then boom, you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. And those million Satoshis you have, 500,000 you have, 2 million, 10 million, whatever you have, is going to be so powerful. So this is why I tell you guys, because you gotta get in before they start really buying those 200,000 Bitcoin. Is you got to start getting sats for free. And I have a couple links down there for the ZBD link or app. Get your free Satoshis by doing polls and playing games. And then this one right here is Ember. Links down in the description box. Sign up, get some free Satoshis just by mining it, sitting there, and you'll get Satoshis every hour in the hour just by sitting there. Then once you get them, you can gamble with them. And then if you take a walk with S Miles, you'll also get free Satoshis just by going for a walk, right? But this is not going to be forever, guys. So, all right, guys, there you have it. You know how we always end the show with the all the good news, but we have to look at the bad news. And the bad news is that national debt. It's just insane and it's out of hand. You know what I mean? And we gotta stop it, man. We gotta stop it. And there's only going to be one way, guys, to lower the inflation, not just short term during Trump's administration and during the next administration. I'm talking about stopping inflation entirely. And before I get into it, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining. We're starting off small, but we're going to build our way up. I appreciate all the donations, likes, shares, and you just being here chilling with me. And I really, really appreciate it. If you want to give me some feedback, in the comment section or in my email, how I can make the show better for you, let me know in the comment section below. And thank you so much. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. But with this national debt here, even though Doge is doing a great job, 216 billion so far saved, and they're saving us as a taxpayer in this nation, $1,925. It's not going to be enough because you're trying to fix a broken system within the broken system, right? You're trying to pay off the national debt in a broken money, And there's a system out there floating around on the outside of this one here that is going to be unbelievable in the future. And most people don't know it, but you do, right? You do. And that system is going to be the only way to not only stop inflation, but to increase your purchasing power and to pay off that national debt. And if you've been here long enough, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what that is. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.